give the link.
Thank you very much.
Give the link.
Thank you very much. Okay, then the sound should be okay.
Okay, it's on the channel.
Yeah, sound should be okay.
Give the link.
Thank you very much. Okay, then the sound should be okay. Let's give it a couple of minutes so people can join and then we can get started. In the meantime, if you got any questions, you can ask us, guys. We got YouTube chat for that. Just shoot it up. Shoot it up. And excuse Arnaud, he's a little bit sick, but don't worry, he doesn't have coronavirus. Just, I hope you don't have it.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just a flu.
Just a flu, you know, as if it's any better than having just a flu, right?
If
Okay, I mean it is better, okay.
it's better, yeah.
Hey gents, welcome to the stream. Okay, I guess we can slowly hit the road, huh? I mean...
Yeah, you can start.
Okay guys, welcome back. Another week, another analysis slash webinar. How should I say it, right? I mean, the previous it was 11th of February, where we were the last time. Let me see, around here. Okay, cool. So, not much has happened, as you can see, guys, but something did happen. That's the most important one. So basically, I already posted this analysis for the Bitcoin during the weekend, but now a little bit more in the detail. In the analysis through the weekend, I have specifically said we are trapped between these two areas, right? As you can see, between these two areas. What does that mean? It's a sort of an area where you can say you're bullish, but you can't say you're bearish, right? So it's a kind of tricky one in the between, right? Is it just for me or the stream is lagging a little bit?
No, I don't think so.
Wait, let me refresh it. It stopped playing for me. Okay, it's just me then. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. So anyway, we are trapped between an area where we are not. Neither we are bullish, neither we are bearish, right? And so I mentioned that we need a strong move, supposedly above this one, to kinda simulate that we are getting in a bullish area. So basically, that we are confirming our bullish trend on a larger time frames, which are weeklies and so, right? Because on weekly we still haven't confirmed the trend change as we did before, right? And then you basically got one of the worst things you can have happened, and we broke down from that area, and this is a really strong area, and the last thing what you don't want to see is breaking down here, right? So what does this mean, breaking down here? Definitely for right now it's not so bad. We only broke down for about, oh, it actually was like $900, right? But the thing is, this is probably not the full correction of it. We have a high chance of having correction at least to down here, right? I'm gonna say at least to, wait, where is it? Let me give it up, let me just horizontal line first. We have a good chance of correcting at least to down here. You know, it could be an area, so it's not exactly pinpointed struggle, but I'm going to say around this area, maybe a little bit higher actually, so we can get this structure in. Yes, we have a good chance of correcting at least down here, which is from the top would be around $1,400 correction, which is not too bad, right? But then after we get down here, we can't consider this being bullish, that we are gonna go higher, right? Because that's the biggest problem of it now, right? We didn't confirm nor bullishness nor bearishness, so right now we are still struggling in the between, right? But if we do go correct down here, I am definitely gonna be more inclined to looking for shorts again than I'm gonna be looking for longs. Definitely I'll go this area again, right? Why? Because risk to reward ratio for finding a good short here, and finding a good short which could potentially last you all the way down here, it's much more rewarding than finding a good long, right? Because even it's gonna be much more, it's much more less risk, it's much more rewarding than finding a good long, because even if you get a breakthrough through this area, then you're probably not gonna go far beyond this area before you correct again, and then you can load up your longs, right? And before the moon in this, right? So definitely you must consider risk to reward ratio. Even if you get blown through, even if you get stopped, it's risk well taken, just because, you know, if you manage to get it right, not only will you make good money on profit targets, you will also make good money on funding, which is also one of the important aspects of it. Wait, let me check what's the funding right now. I'm not even sure. Okay, so funding, okay, it's 0.3. Let's check Ethereum. Holy shit, Ethereum has huge funding. Do you see that? Man, Ethereum has 0.10. You see that, Arnaud? Ethereum has almost 0.5% a day. Holy shit. Well, that basically confirms that. So, if you're holding a long on Ethereum, you're going to be paying 0.5% in funding every day, almost 0.5%, because those numbers do vary a little bit, and which is quite a hefty price for someone to continue to push the coin upstairs, right? So definitely, we have even more chances of going down, right? With the further correction, as I mentioned before. From higher times perspectives, right? We have broken. I'm not gonna lie, we have broken this area, which was the area. So basically, I'm going to say just like this. Let me delete this shit right now, so it's gonna be more clear. We have broken this area, right? Which it was a pattern, sort of a place. The pattern that was playing out, but we didn't completely broke the pattern because we didn't get to break this again. Again, we just wicked to it and closed down under, and now we're going down, right? So definitely, until we break this, I can't consider being bullish. I just can't be bullish on weekly time frames, right? I mean, it's just not how the price action works, sadly. even if some people want to be bullish, want to see a new alt run, or sorry, a new bull run or anything. It's not gonna happen without breaking that area. Jens is asking, what makes you say that the correction will continue? What indicates these targets? So as I said, correction. As I said, because was one of the most important areas, and you did reject one of the areas where you would supposed to moon the hardest. You rejected it, which is, from my personal experience, usually means that it's gonna be a larger correction. Just because there's a lot of resistance at these areas, and of course when people see it rejecting it, then they start selling out. I mean, obviously they are a little bit more afraid, right? Especially real traders. A lot of traders will exit in these points, in this sort of construction. Let me see. Let me give you a pen. This, in crypto, I'm gonna tell you like this, right? This is like, in crypto, you have these fast distributions, right? In any other markets, this distribution would have lasted a lot longer, a lot longer. But in crypto, it's a fast-moving market, so prices move fast. Like, I don't even know where should I show you. Like, maybe I have a great example on Forex, Japanese or things like that. So yeah, like I was trying to say, you have areas like this, right? You hit the main area, right? You hit the main area, and you need to break it for you to be bullish, right? And then while you're trying to break it, you enter this sort of a distribution pattern, right? And here it lasts a lot longer than it did on Bitcoin, even though it's smaller time frame, right? It lasts a lot longer, and then finally it breaks down into a higher, into a longer correction, right? And same thing happening here as well right now. If you're looking at it, right, you're trying to break the area where you will become bullish, and then you start slowly starting to enter this distribution pattern, which is probably going to end up right around here now. This candle tested this, and then it's just gonna go down. That's mostly the theory behind the price action of breaking down the pattern, right? So that would be kind of an example. But of course, in Bitcoin, it doesn't take a long time. It's when it's gonna make this main move, it just takes a little bit of time. And this, if I'm not mistaken, this was not even a week. How long did this last? Actually only 3 days, and you already start breaking down, right? And now you have chances to break down even further, just because this being such a main area as it is before. Sorry, I was changing this chart, right? What makes you indicate these targets? What makes me indicate these targets? I mean, that's an interesting question, right? I mean, I'm just saying that these are sort of the main levels of the entire chart. So where do we have the biggest chances of hitting the targets? Well, usually you go test the main levels, right? I mean, Bitcoin rarely leaves any levels untested, right? Everything around here was tested, every major level here till now was tested, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna test this level. If not now, if it's gonna break up, right? I mean, eventually this level, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be tested eventually, right? I mean, because Bitcoin does not leave a lot of levels untested behind, right? Yes, we do also have main levels down here which were not tested, right? Or here, right there. But like I'm saying, you can't exclude that maybe in the future price can even hit these two levels, right? I mean, because again, Bitcoin does not leave many main levels untested on the chart. That's just how it did in the past. Is the future gonna be different? We don't know, because that's, at the end of the day, it's again a prediction, and we don't do predictions because they are highly unlikely. I mean, they're highly just, I mean, at the end of the day, they are just bullshit, right? We can go around and play on Twitter and throw 5 predictions out there, and then when one of them plays out, and we just delete the other 4's one. That's not how it works, right? It's real trading world. You can't really make money of that, right? If it doesn't make, and predictions at the end of the day, they don't make you money. They just, so yeah, I'm just saying what is the best bet. If it breaks down further, definitely we can look for this area to give it a small short again, because the risk to reward ratio is much larger than we have anticipated it, and that's about it, right? And for us to be bullish, we have to break this area, and until we break this area, I'm not gonna look for any heavy or long-term longs. I will look for scalps longs, and our algorithms are long in all the time, if I'm not mistaken, right, Arnaud? Algorithms have had a lot of longs these days on Bitcoin, on Ethereum. Most of them played out. It was pretty good month, right? But I'm saying, from user point of perspective, long-term investments, it's not ready yet if it's not showing bullish, right? Why make the long-term investment if it's not bullish? I get same questions about XRP a lot of times, right? It's just saying, when should I do a long-term perspective, or should I say, where should I enter it for a long-term, to hold it for long-term? And again, I mean, when you look at this chart, guys, I mean, I mean, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, this chart doesn't look bullish, right? I mean, this chart is far from being bullish, right? I mean, unless we break this area, at least break this area, like we can't even indicate for this being bullish. So how can I answer the question if you should invest and hold this coin for a couple of years right now? I mean, we don't have a crystal ball at the end of the day to really tell you if this is bullish or if this is going to be bullish or not, right? But from one glance of this chart right now, no one can call this bullish, right? No one can call this bullish. We can call this, at best case, sorry, let me switch to another chart where it's not so dirty. From the best case, we can say this is accumulation. From the best case, we can say that somebody, that whales are slowly buying in, because this right now, this structure right now, right, looks very similar to what Bitcoin had when it was 3K, right? I mean, very similar, right? Wait, let me give it daily. So we see, very similar to what Bitcoin had at 3K. You have exactly right here, right now, if you zoom it out, right? But, you know, Bitcoin did a fantastic run. Will XRP do the same run? We will never know. Because XRP, look, this accumulation could be good, right? But if it just goes to up here, rejects it, and it goes back down, then it can even go into further accumulation, right? It can still do something like this, you know, comes up here, rejects it, goes lower, and then starts accumulating again, and then breaks out, right? You can't tell this, so you definitely cannot buy coins like this unless you want to gamble a little bit. You can't buy them for the long periods of time and just say something's gonna happen in next couple of years, right? It's just how trading works, you know. It's like the same in the standard markets and traditional markets, you know, that you don't usually buy coins or charts that are not bullish and hold them for, you know, longer periods of time, right? But yes, I know how crypto works as well. I know that a lot of times when you have these accumulation areas, you're just gonna get one candle right up here, and it's just gonna pump, or it's just gonna pump in a week for like 100%. And I know this happens mainly because of liquidity issues of crypto, because it's all the books are so thin. So once it starts pumping, it's just gonna go up, 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 right? But you know, but you have, like, if you look at it, you have like 1,000 alts, right? There are 1,000 alts out there on Binance. So picking the right one, you have less chances of just playing roulette. I mean, you have more chance of just playing roulette than picking one alt that's gonna moon like that. What it just says. What's your analysis on lower time frames for BTC 1 hour, 4 hour? Well, 1 hour and 4 hour, let's be honest right now, because of the breakdown right now on 1 hour, 4 hour, it's obviously not looking good, right? I mean, like, when we open a 1 hour chart right now, right? It's not looking good. If we disregard this entire time frame, then we should say, I mean, disregard any higher time frames, then we should say that it's definitely not gonna make it past this point, right? The Bitcoin is not gonna make it past this point of 1 hour or 4 hour, if we disregard all the higher time frames. But again, we all know that lower time frames are definitely not nearly as accurate as higher time frames, right? So if I was looking only 1 hour right now, I would definitely short it in this area, right? But then stop loss would have been a little bit wide, so definitely would have had to scale in the trade, because, you know, you'd potentially, if you place it here, it's 250 bucks, but you would have to place it up here, which is 360 bucks, right? Which is not an ideal stop. It is a wide stop, right? So what you would have to do, you would have to make the area even larger and sort of like slowly scale in all the way up here, and then you hopefully break down and you make money, right? So yeah, like, when you ask for lower time frames on after the breakdown, it's obviously always going to look bearish, right? But you know, it's not the low time frames that matters, it's the higher time frames that are important, right? And the higher time frames, you know, daily looks good, right? But when you go to weekly, it still doesn't look bullish, right? So that's just how it is at the moment. I mean, but yeah, weekly is very late when it confirms this bullishness, like I said up here. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum. Oh yeah, Ethereum. Ethereum is still far behind Bitcoin, right? Because if we consider Ethereum versus Bitcoin, then Bitcoin is up here already, somewhere up here, right? Where Ethereum is still down here. So I placed up a few lines on the chart, which I did before the stream. Just basically, it's just sort of a thing that I've thought of on Ethereum. It's like scaling into a trade. You know, it's definitely one of the most, how to say, it's called a hedging strategy. So basically what that means is like if you have long on Bitcoin, or should I say if you like holding some bits of Ethereums, right? I mean, obviously, then you could scale into these trades. You know, you could take like $1,000 trade here, and then here you add extra 2,000, add extra 3,000, blah blah blah. Depends on how big of your position to counter is. So depends of how much of long or how much Ethereum coins are you holding, right? And then you basically you just fill up your position all the way up here, and then hopefully when Ethereum breaks down, you obviously make money, and you have high chances again of making a good money, just because look at Ethereum's funding, right? It's 0.10%. I mean, and obviously it usually predicts less numbers than it is when the time comes, so it's gonna be about 0.15%, which kind of makes this a 0.5% long. Sorry, 0.5% funding per day. So you basically you're only just holding short and you get 0.5% per day, right? And right now it's maybe mooning, right? But when it starts to go sideways, right? When it starts to go sideways around here, these main levels, oh, you're gonna make shit ton of money by just collecting, right? Because if this takes like 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of 0.5%, you already made a lot of percentage, right? And if it breaks down, then you make even more, right? So definitely, again, one of the risks which is very calculated and worth taking in these scenarios, right? Uh, yeah, and obviously the stop would have to be at the top of the wick, right? A little bit above it, so 375, something like that, if you would. But again, you could only do that if you were holding larger amounts of Ethereums already, you know. So that short would act kind of as your hedge to your longs, right? So that you can make money both ways, no matter which direction the coin moves, right? It's definitely a little bit a more advanced strategy, but it's a good idea in markets like that. It's a very good idea. So XRP we already mentioned, TRX, TRX. So again, guys, if you have any more questions, as Jens is asking, like you can type it into the YouTube chat, and we will try to answer them to the best of our abilities, right? TRX. Let me see TRX. TRX. Oh yeah, we talked about TRX. We already said. Wait, what did we say? Ah, so we said, so if I remember, we said if it's gonna break this line, then we're gonna move our long up. But right now it didn't break the line, so we're gonna keep our long here. So I'm guessing we can just move the long right up here with the stop under here. Yep, it's perfect, and just wait for it to be hit. For now, since Bitcoin is a little bit shaky, it can be hit quite easily. It can be hit quite easily, but let me just check weekly time frames. Yeah, still I wouldn't move. No, I wouldn't move my trades up there. Like I say, I wouldn't continue with the bullish entries right now. Definitely not yet. It's too unstable. The market is too unstable. I don't want to get wicked out. I mean, you know, it's a good example again. ETC BTC, right? I went for a full aggressive entry. Look, I got wicked out, right? Easily as that. So definitely, you know, but you can't know when entries like this are gonna stop working, right? So basically, on the beginning, entries like this for like I'm gonna say for like past 3 weeks, yeah, for like past 3 weeks, they worked wonderfully, much wonderfully. Everyone was hit, right? But then as soon as one is wrecked, then all of them are gonna be wrecked. Like most of the alts probably skip their bullish entries. Like I mean, even probably bad. Uh, okay, bad worked out. Okay, never mind. But you know, as example, that once one altcoin drops a bullish entry, then most of them do, right? Nothing you can do about that. It's just a standard procedure. Could you also look at Link USD? Yes, Jens, I could definitely look at Link USD or USDT. I'm guessing USDT, right, on Binance. I mean, is there a difference to it? Link USD. Ah, that's exactly the same. Yeah, let's just look at USDT then. Oh my gosh, no, that's okay. Link is one of those rare coins that remained very bullish, and yeah, this is what I was telling you. I was telling you about on the XRP. When Bitcoin's, sorry, when crypto starts mooning, it moons fast, right? And that's the biggest issue, right? I mean, now you're obviously bullish on Link, right? But look, it mooned already 150%. So right now, you have nothing else to do but to wait for retrace. Like, I mean, you can't really do anything, right? So definitely one of your entries could be here. But if you're feeling really bullish, but I'm hoping it won't skip you, but you can do it right. Any higher than this, I would have to be a madman, because right now, this area, you already tested it here. You see this week already tested it and mooned for like 70%. Yep, so this area is definitely invalidated right now. I mean, it's not available anymore. So definitely right now these two entries would be the lowest you could, highest you could go right now without risking too much. And the stop on the first one would be, let's see, the stop on the first one would be have to be here, so it's about 5%, which is not too bad. This can turn out to be pretty good trade. Also you gotta mind, because if Bitcoin is gonna swing a lot, like I'm gonna say if it's gonna dump a lot, then this can easily get broken because it's USDT, right? And everything is goddamn correlated with Bitcoin when it comes to USDT or Bitcoin, right? And here again, it's 10% stop, a much wider one, but definitely the level like this can definitely provide you with more of a reaction than the level up here, right? So definitely you have a lot more availability when it comes to making a good profitable trade, or should I say more consistent type of profitable trade, right? But definitely both of those levels are good for the taking. I wouldn't mind taking any of those. Litecoin, let's see Litecoin. Litecoin, same story. We said if it breaks this one heavily, then we're going to move along upstairs, but it didn't break it heavily. It barely broke it, didn't even get like 2 candles up there, and we already rejected it. So definitely still keeping this long, maybe making a little area a little bit wider right now. A little bit wider with the stop under there. Definitely going to give it a reaction. I know here it came kind of close, it's iffy, but definitely if it's gonna come back down here again, I'm gonna expect a reaction yet again from it. So I still consider this one as being a pretty good one. Would not move it yet. Yeah, we had it here. Now we have to move it up here, like I said. Move it up here, and of course this one as well. Like that, and stop loss like that. So it was 7%. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I would probably expect. This time I would take the first profit target, definitely has to be taken at this same area again, because it's one of the main areas of the chart right now. But then the second profit target, the second profit target can be taken higher. Yeah, can be taken up higher in this green area, which this makes it a pretty nice profitable trade. Definitely nothing to be ashamed at. EOS, that's not a good chart. Okay, so EOS, we had this area marked. So this was the area that we are going to take if it breaks the green line. And it's a good one since, okay, definitely the area still worked out, right? I mean, even if we had it right now, we're still not stopped. But definitely, it's too aggressive for the time that it was being, right? I mean, it came close to our stop, but it wouldn't stop us. But right now, we still wouldn't be making, I mean, we still haven't made a dime, right? So if I was in this trade right now, I would exit break even just because we didn't break this area yet, right? Because this long is considered when we break this area. But we can take this one, because if it rejects sooner before that, we can take this one. You just gotta stay a little bit more conservative, There's a lot of options, a lot of odds right there, and a lot of them won't feel you, but the ones that will feel you will probably give you a reaction, which that means it's a high accuracy trade, right? Because at the end of the day, you could take this long right now. You could take it right now. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna work out, because knowing alts, and if Bitcoin goes sideways, this is gonna work out, right? The biggest problem with that is it's not high accuracy, right? You can get stopped a lot of times as well for it. So definitely not a trade that I want to participate, because I do not like to be stopped a lot of times. I like to be stopped as much less as possible and make consistent profits than to chase some moons and lambos, like I've explained myself so many times before, right? Okay, that was again like this. The last stream we said we need a hard break of this area, as we even made a circle up here. Then we can take a long at this, right? We didn't break the area, we would definitely lose this long, obviously, right? Because we didn't break the area right now. Then, if we didn't break the area, we still have this long, which we still can be considered, and it can still hit. If this long hits, I said we can take it all the way to the yellow line, but I wouldn't take it as far as that without any sooner profit targets, because we most definitely have to take another profit target around here, which is still a pretty good profit, but the last profit target can be taken up here. and we can hope that a rally on the alts will start, and sorry, that a rally on the alts will continue and bring us even more profits, right? The same stuff right here, guys. So yeah, guys, if you got any more questions, feel free to ask them right now about any alts. We can still analyze them, and like we can still analyze. We can still analyze them like this, like which we're just doing right now, because this is actually really helpful if you want to take something on your own, right? But I'm not. But if you're going to ask me what sort of investment you should make for the longest time period, right? Then it's definitely a little bit heavy to answer that question right now. We also had this bat, which we said if it comes to this area, we're gonna long it right here. It was actually beautiful. It came to this area, dropped down, longed, and it actually worked out. We also had beam, I think. I'm not even sure what happened with beam. So with beam, I can see that we had a long down here, which got missed already. This long we already anticipated here, but it got missed. Obviously, we're not gonna take this one because it's invalidated from here. But this one never got hit yet. But it maybe will get hit. You never know. You never know what Bitcoin is gonna pull, if it's gonna go on bigger cancellation or not. Oh, on Binance, we actually had a pretty nice reaction on Binance. We got filled here, and it really kind of mooned. Definitely like seeing this stuff. I don't think we had any other altcoins. Oh yeah, this one I remember. Chiles. Actually, they announced a partnership with the Barcelona football team, I think, so that's why it mooned so hard. Like actually, let's see how much it did. I think they announced it around here, yeah. So actually did 85%, not too bad, not too bad. Wait, did we have any more altcoins? Oh yeah, XLM. I think we checked XLM. It was for one user. XLM, as I said, if we go on this area, we can take along here, but we barely touched the area. We didn't even go to the middle of it, so definitely, as expected, we even would have gotten stopped here. Can't do it anything else. XRM, we did that one before. We had one more long. I'm not sure which one. From the last stream, XLM, do we have? I can't remember. I think that was all of them. Wait, was it Link? Oh yeah, we had one link, but yeah, that's not gonna get filled for quite some time. Yep, that one is not gonna get filled for quite some time. Loom? Nope. Oh, and then I think those were all the longs we had from Tomo. Let me check this one. Oh, that's one is from the times back. Oh yeah, so those are basically any more outs. So guys, if you got any questions, please do ask them now. We're still online. If not, then I think we basically covered all the things that are happening right now in crypto, all the basics, all the everything. That should give you a little bit more insight into the market. Of course, we will supply you with daily updates on BTC every day as usual, or with updates if something serious happens. Me or Arnaud are posting them on the 4C trading channel all the time, so it's not like you guys are missing anything or you guys are misinformed, right? Definitely we keep you informed at all times, right? If there's not any more questions, then I guess we can wrap this one slowly up. Well guys, unfortunately Arnold was a little bit AFK today since he is sick, and you can hear from his voice he still has a flu, so poor guy, we have to give him a little bit of rest so he can reset. But if this is all, guys, if you have no more questions, then I will wish you a good week, right? A good trading week, and I hope we're gonna make some money till the next time we meet each other, right? So yeah, take care, guys, and then see you next time.